welcome to my fourth C++ tutorial. And today, what I'm going to be doing is teaching you how to use while loops and Sentinel controlled programs. Now, a while loop is basically a command that will keep executing a group of code over and over again until a condition is broken or false or something like that. Or maybe if a condition is true, depending on what you're trying to make the command do. Sentinel controlled programs is if you're trying to enter like a list of data, but you don't know how long the list of data is going to be. So you need a way to figure out like how to quit every time and how it can still work. So let's make a very simple program. Or first, let me show you what a while loop is. So let's say I just want to add up add up numbers until I get to 100. So I'll go ahead and create a variable. I'll name it number, which is the best variable ever. And we'll set it equal to 0. Then I'll create my while loop. So I'll type while. And then in parentheses, I'm going to put the condition that the while loop is going to be checking. And I'll just say that number is not equal to 101. So when it gets to as long as it's not 101, it'll keep counting. So that should work. As long as so when it gets to 100, it'll display 100, but it will not display 101. So the first thing we want it to do is have so number is currently 0, and now what it's going to do is we're going to type number and then plus plus. Remember, that's basically the same thing as just adding 1 to itself. I believe I said that in a previous tutorial. You can also do minus minus if you're weird. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to display it. And let's just go ahead, cout number, and then to make everything look nice with good formatting, we'll go ahead and type comma space. That way, after every number, there'll be a comma and a space. So this is good for displaying the numbers, but so we have it to count up to 100, and it'll display all the numbers. But like, what's it going to do when it quits? So after the program gets to 100, that means this condition will be broken, or when it's false. Sometimes we call that the condition is being broken. So basically, after it's broken, it'll basically just execute the code that's after it. Basically just like any other command. So the code that's after it, I'll put cout, and then I'll type finished, yay. Actually no, I want it to end line first. So here's a very simple trick to making an end line. Just type /n, and that will end the line every time. So then it won't like look weird. So this way you do not have to keep typing end L every time. So that should work better. And then we'll just go ahead and type the command that makes sure that the window doesn't close. Okay. Window doesn't close on us. So let's go ahead and run it. Okie dokie. So as you can see, for some reason it still included 101. Maybe the program is not how I thought it was. Anyways, as you can see, it counts from 1, 2, 3 all the way to 101 apparently, not to 100, which it shouldn't have. And then after that it says finished, yay. Now I'm not sure if this is like a problem with the thing. Let me go ahead and see if I change this to 100, does that make it any different? Let me see real quick. Let's see. Oops. There we go. Okay. Oh, okay. So I guess it's one behind, maybe. I'm not sure, But as you can see, now it goes to 99 and it stops at 100, but it still has a comma afterwards. But that's something we can fix with just an if statement. Now, what I'm going to do is show you how what while loops can be used for, and um, what a Sentinel program is. So this we give it the number to stop at. But say we want, let's say like a teacher is trying to enter their grades and average them out to see the average grade of the class for a test. Let's just say it's out of 100. So in this case, remember we have a variable, and in the while loop, every time the while loop restarts, it's testing the variable to make sure it is or is not a certain number, or is less than or equal to, or whatever, a certain number. But this time, let's say there needs to be the integer called grade, and then there's going to be an integer called total, and then there'll be another one called people entered or grades entered. And now normally, the while loop, it's kind of hard to make it so that it repeats. Oh, we can make it so that it repeats a certain amount of times and then quits. But let's say, like, in my family, there are 5 people. So if I was entering, like, the grades of everybody in my family, I guess, I could make it just repeat 5 times. But if I'm going to make this program for everybody to use, but nobody's going to use it, but if I do make it for everybody to use, I don't know how many people are in their classes or families or whatever, so I'm going to have to make the program have to just deal with any amount of people that are in their families. So grade here is, it's going to be what the input is right there. Oh, oops. My mouse is not working. Okay, there we go. The grade is going to be the input. So if we can make it so that if the input a certain number, that could tell the program, okay, that's the last one, you can quit now and do your thing. So let's say that if they type in -1, then it'll quit. The reason why I'm using -1 is because it's kind of impossible for one of the grades to actually be -1, so there couldn't be any mistake there. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do while, and then grade is not equal to, exclamation mark in this case means not equal to, grade is not equal to -1, and then I'll make it do stuff in here. So while it's not equal to -1. Actually, before that, I'm going to type cout, and I'm going to type enter the first person's grade type, and then after that, type -1 to quit. And then I'll do that, put a semicolon. Wait, hold on, let me end line. Oh, by the way, you can do /n, so I'll go ahead and do that, /n. So that'll end the line, and then I'll do cn grade. And then after, oops, I need a semicolon there. I'm gonna, so currently the total is going to be 0, right? So after that, I'm going to make the total. I'm gonna add whatever grade is to the total, like this. Why did I capitalize total? I didn't really have to. Oops, I forgot to put a plus sign. Okay, so after we have that, then now what we just need to do is increase the amount of grades entered if we want to do the average. So for that, we can just do grades entered and then plus plus. There's a lot of space in here. So that's just the first one. For the next one and all the other ones, we can just type type next, and by the way, this is of course inside of the while loop. Type next person's grades and /n, and I forgot, of course, to do. Oops, I forgot to do that. So type next person's grades \n. So that'll just print out. Oh yeah, and or -1 to quit. So that'll print out this, and then this will go to the next line. So we can also, after that, type and then grade. And then that'll give them a better prompt to type stuff in. And then of course cn grade, oops, and I just go ahead and copy and paste these like that. Now that takes care of everything. They can type as many people as they want. It'll keep adding it to the total, but if they type -1, then it'll quit and they'll be done with that. So once they do type -1, then it's going to find the average of the grades. So when they type -1, it's going to exit the while loop. So once it exits the while loop, what we're going to want it to do is just divide the total by the grades entered, and yeah, that's it. So we'll just put, we'll create a new variable called average. It's always just kind of a good custom, I guess, to make all your variables, or yeah, create them, identify them, whatever you want to say, to make them at the top here. It's just a general custom. So and then we'll just put average. And then we'll say average equals, and then total divided by, and then grades entered. And then we'll do cout. Go ahead and do /n, and then average grade is, and that should be it. We'll of course do the console read key. Oh yeah, and I also have to put parentheses after this, and a semicolon, and I forgot to even type the variable, so it's not even going to print it out. And then here it's just going to type the average here. Okay, let's go ahead and see if it works. Now just to be super, like I guess simple, we'll just go ahead and just type like 100 4 times, so the average should be 100, so 100, 100, 100, 100. And as you can see, we can enter it as many times as we want, but the second we enter -1, it quits, and it says average grade is 30. Oh, this is a problem. So it takes -1 and it counts it for one of the grades. So we need to fix this, because otherwise, once they type -1, that's going to throw off the average, and we don't want that to happen. So we can do this with, I believe we can fix this with an if statement, which I also taught in a previous tutorial. Now, the part where it messes it up is it adds it to here. So, so we just need to only add it to the tutorial if grade, if grade is not equal to -1. And of course, we're putting this if statement inside of the while loop. And we'll just go ahead and cut and paste. There we go. All right, let's see if this works. So it says enter the first person's grade, type -1 to quit. So I'll go ahead and do that. Let's say the first person's grade was 100. All right, next person's grade 100, 100, 100. And now we'll type -1, and it says average is 100. And by the way, guys, I'm sorry. I just realized that you probably were not able to see what happened last time. For some reason, it didn't show up on the recording thing. So I can just show you what actually like happened real quick and what the bug was that I had to fix. So what happened is in here, what I did was I had this, and since if they put in -1, then it would affect the data because it would subtract 1 from the total. And I can go ahead and show you what that does by just showing you like this, the bugged version. And let me just make sure you can see it. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, if I type 100, 100, 100, 100, and then I type -1 to quit, it says 79. And the reason it says that is because the number -1 threw off the data, and what we needed to do is make it so that -1 was not actually included when we added up all the data, and we fixed that with an if statement. So that's really all there is to my tutorial for now. I'll see you in my next tutorial, where I'm probably going to be teaching you how to make a very simple game. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe because I'm desperate for subscribers.